everyone, and thanks again so much for tuning in. So I know I said my channel is going to be a TTC channel, and that is what it's mostly going to be about, TTC, and then hopefully beyond into pregnancy afterwards, and so on and so forth. But I can't help myself because I am such an animal lover. I mentioned in my other videos that I do have a couple pets, and you've met Finnegan. So, with that being said, I've come across the pet tag on YouTube, and I can't help myself. This is right up my alley, so I have to do the pet tag. But before I do the pet tag, I'm going to do the pet tag about Finnegan, and you'll meet him in a moment. But I just want to also mention that if interested, leave me some comments below, and then I can also do some separate videos on these guys as well. But if you like this video, I also have a pug, a St. Bernard, and a German Shepherd. Those are my other 3 dogs, so I have 4 dogs total. But Finnegan and I are going to probably have a kind of a special relationship, which you'll get to know more about in this video, as well as I have a 8 or 9-year-old Himalayan named Louie. Normally he's kicking around this room, but he's out and about right now. So I'm going to jump right into the pet tag. I have my questions written down. Let me just grab my boy. Alright. Here he is. Okay. Say hi. Hi, baby. Alright, so I have my questions written down here. We're just going to get right started. So what is your pet's name? So first off, this is Finn, F-I-N-N-E-J-A-G-A-N, yes, Finnegan. And that is my pet's name. He doesn't have a middle name yet, but we're working on it. Probably Colby. I wanted to name him Colby. So it'll probably be little Finnegan Colby, and then his last name. And what kind of animal is he and breed? Well, Mr. Finnegan here is a short-haired cream and white male Chihuahua, but he also suffers from vitiligo, which is a form of albinoism in dogs, as well as people. If you take a look, Michael Jackson suffered from that, or supposedly suffered from that. If you can take a quick peek there, he's got baby blue eyes, so those are going to stay with him for life. He is still young, but he is a male short-haired Chihuahua. He's not a teacup, so he's probably looking at about between 5 and 7 pounds full grown, because there are different classes. There's teacup, which isn't actually a class, it's just meaning that they stay within the show standard of under 4 pounds, sorry. Then you have your typical, they just call them standard Chihuahua, just Chihuahua basically, which are your anywhere between 4 and 7 pounds, and then they have your standard Chihuahuas, which is also, once again, it's not actually called standard, but that's the ones that get bigger, which are about the 10 pounds, which isn't considered breed standard, but, you know, they're just like people. They all grow different than us, and they're not all going to be tiny, tiny babies. So how long have you had your pet? I've actually only had Finnegan since last Thursday, so Halloween. So he's very new, so we haven't even had him a week, so I can't answer a whole lot about him, but I'm going to answer what I have. So I've had him since Halloween, so October 31st of 2013. He's such a sweet boy. He's tired right now. He just did a big training session before this video. So how did you get your pet? Finnegan was a surprise to me from my husband. We had discussed looking into potentially getting another dog for me, because I deal with anxiety and depression. A lot of the time I have a hard time going into public places where there's lots of population, just because my anxiety starts to kick in and I get really nervous and I lose my breath and I have to end up leaving before I end up really being able to do anything. So we were discussing, and I've spoken with a trainer about getting a small dog that kind of helps me in those moments when I'm starting to kind of panic or feel overwhelmed, that I can just kind of cuddle and zone into my own world with him. And we looked into a couple different breeds, and Chihuahua was one of the front runners, just because they have a tendency to bond to one person. So he will bond to me the more time he spends with me, hopefully. I'll be his #1 person as well. If they're trained properly and socialized properly, they're very friendly with strangers as much as they prefer their own people. They're not nippy with strangers, but they are protective of their owners. So with that being said, as long as you properly socialize your Chihuahua, you shouldn't have that nippy tendencies that some of them do get as they age. But a lot of the time that just becomes with lack of socialization with other dogs and people when they're babies, because people do tend to baby them, as I am right now, holding him all the time. But it's in the breed trait that they actually do like to be held. and like to be cuddled. So I'm not forcing him to stay with me by any means. As you can see, he's fully leaned into me. I'm not forcing him to be here. It's part of what he enjoys doing, which is part of one of the reasons that drew us to this breed. We had also considered poodles, just because they're hypoallergenic, and I have my grooming certification as well, and I love to play with their hair. But anyway, so how Finnegan came into my life, I guess my husband took it upon himself and agreed. We were in a discussion, but we hadn't said that, yes, we were going to go get a dog, but he came home Halloween and said, I have a surprise for you. I need you to get in the car, and we're going to go take a small drive. And when we arrived at the house, there were 3 puppies to choose from. So, that's how I got my Finnegan. So, he was brought in here for a pet companion, as well as, hopefully, if he takes to the training, he's going to be a basically service dog, but he's not going to be trained to do any tasks for me, but just be trained to be there for me when I need him to be. Okay, so how old is he? Finnegan is just over 7 weeks. He was 7 weeks on Saturday. He was born on September 14th, so he's just a young gaffer. He probably shouldn't even really be away from his mom. When we had our litter of puppies, we bred 2 litters of pugs, sorry. But now my pug's spayed. When we bred our litters, I didn't let them go till 8 weeks because they needed that time to socialize with their mom and learn how to be dogs before they can learn to be pets. So, I wouldn't be comfortable letting my puppies go that early, but I'm not complaining because that just gave me an extra week with him. Some quirky things in your pet's personality. Like I said, we've only had him for a couple days, so I'm still learning who he is completely. But so far, some quirky things is he hasn't quite learned muscle control in his jaw fully. So when even when he's just play biting, he looks like he wants to rip your face off because he gets his teeth just curl right up because he hasn't gotten the muscle control to just go, ah. He gets that growl, snarl, even though he's not growling. He looks like he's a little miniature pit bull. Because if you can see how square his little jaw is and how square his face is, I like to say he looks like a pit bull, which is banned in Ontario, unfortunately. So that's kind of one quirky thing when he's playing. He almost looks like he's being aggressive even when he's not. He loves to bug my shepherd of all dogs. It's funny because you think that would be the one dog he'd want to avoid. He loves harassing him. He's always biting his tail. And I don't think he's figured out what the pug or the cat is because they have flat faces. And they kind of look different than anything he's looked at. They had a Great Pyrenees where he was bred as well as his mom and dad. But he's still trying to figure out what exactly pug is and if it's safe to play with her or not. And that's kind of quirky. What does your relationship to your pet mean to you? My animals are my children. I don't have any children currently. But they are my babies even when I have my child. I don't care. My dogs will still be up there in terms of importance, especially this little one. If all goes as planned, he's basically going to be with me 24/7. So his bond will mean a lot to me. It already does. He's been with me everywhere I've gone since we've got him so far. He doesn't have a vest, but I still snuck him into the mall. And but his vest is on order, and his training starts soon with a certified trainer. So that will be really good. So his relationship means a lot just because he's not only just a companion, he's also going to be working for me essentially and helping me in those situations that I should be okay with that I'm not. So number 8 is your favorite pastimes. Well, some of your favorite pastimes with your pets. If we're talking about this one in particular, I really enjoyed bedtime with him because none of my other dogs are allowed to sleep on the bed. But this one is. So he sleeps with me on the bed. I really enjoy cuddles. I enjoy these moments here where we're just holding on to each other. He is so, so sweet for being a puppy. He has his moments where he goes crazy puppy and then he's just a cuddle bug. So I absolutely adore him already. Plus he's going to have special needs because of his albinoism. He's going to need sunblock on his nose as well as his ears because they are such light pigment. They will need sunblock as well. He'll likely need goggles. I know it sounds like I'm dressing up my dog, but I didn't get a Chihuahua just to dress him up. But once I saw this blue-eyed boy, I knew he was mine, and I wanted to make sure he went to a home where they understood that dogs that have light eyes and no pigments around their eyelids, such as him. You see how it's pink? The sun can really burn their eyes, so it's best to protect those as well. And yes, as much as it's cheesy, he will likely wear t-shirts even in the summer, just because he is such fair-skinned and his coat is a little bit thinner than normal because of being albino. So his skin, he's fully covered in hair. It's just very, very, very thin. So once he gets his adult coat, we'll be able to see the difference there. But should he need it, he'll likely have to wear sweaters and stuff too, just to keep him warm in this winter, because it's the Canadian winter. And then in the summer, he'll need it for sun protection. There he goes, being a sweet boy. And I think there's only one more question left. Sorry, I lost my page here. And nicknames. Do you have any nicknames for Finnegan? I call him Finn. I call him Munchkin. I call him Monster. I call him Sweet Bear. Anything. He goes by anything. And he knows when I'm talking to him, because I just changed my voice. But anyway, he's falling asleep in my arms, so this is the pet tag. And thank you so much for watching me and Finnegan. And we look forward to making some more videos. I'm sure you're probably going to see Finnegan in a lot of my videos in the future. But if you'd like to see any of my other pets, just give me a holler. And I will make another pet tag about one of them. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.